Welcome on in, guys. Tobin here with you, and thanks for checking out the channel. This was a frustrating one tonight. Your Miami Heat, they lose 106-105 to the in-state rivals, the Orlando Magic, the little brothers, getting the upper hand in this one. And a frustrating night, I think, for Miami. They are going to be kicking themselves with how this game went. And especially, and Eric Reed said this point at the end, like a team that usually is so crisp about their execution and getting things off right. And it was interesting because I really felt like the first half of this game, the theme of it was, man, Bam Adebayo and Norm Powell, they got something. Like and it wasn't just a basketball thing either. It felt like, oh man, I actually started the morning listening to their podcast. It was the young man on the three now, JJ Redick, no former. It was old man, so new man. I don't know what the hell it was. The former JJ Redick podcast and the three. And these guys, they were chummy. They were chumming it up on the whole start of the season and how things were going. You could just tell. This is the second time they've done media together on like a national landscape. This was a new interview too, which because a lot of podcasts will bank episodes, and so apparently this was done this week. And man, yeah, those two chipper. And I felt like this game, the theme of it early was, man, the duo and persona that is Bam Adebayo and Norman Powell. It feels like it's got this good identity for the team. And we mind you, this is a game that Tyler Hero did not play. We'll get into some of the other stuff on that because obviously that comes with things and fallout and all that type of stuff too. But so for tonight, the Heat back to their old look with Norman Bam, and I felt like there was a point in the game. I was like, man, these guys just feel like they holster the persona of the team. A lot of big emotional plays. And I say all that to say that it all crumbled on a failed dribble handoff. Credit the Orlando Magic, too. They're very tough. Wendell Carter and Goga Bitadze really cranked up the pressure on Bam in the second half. And, it felt like they got caught in this weird in-between. And Bam was only able to end up with a wonky heave, ugly-looking shot that really didn't have a prayer in hell. And, so unfortunately that execution by that duo did not go well there in the final stages. I credit Miami because it was a really, thought it was a game that there could have been at any point where Miami could have given in on a big run. And the way that Orlando was going, you're like, can they get back into this thing? And, to the credit of these guys, they really brought that persistence there in that fourth quarter to get themselves all the way back with a chance. Never got over the hump to get there, even when, shout out, you heard those Let's Go Heat chants. You heard them. And it was after Franz Wagner threw up an air ball over Jaime. Miami's down 106-103, and then Powell gets them to within one. Him and Bam using that two-man game and getting itself to within a point, but unfortunately weren't able to get the last one that they needed because the Heat were able to get a jump ball. Jaime and Wendell Carter get tied up. Great block by Jaime. They call jump ball. Ends up with the Magic. They only have a chance for a heave, so the Heat do get their chance to go after it. And Norm Powell gets a kind of a weird fadeaway over Wendell Carter. Bam makes a great effort. It's able to go off Orlando, stays with Miami. They're not able to get it in immediately. They call timeout, come back, try once more. Play doesn't go well. They got a chance to get the ball back. About 3 seconds left, and it all kind of crumbled there. So that was the unfortunate ending for your Miami Heat in a game where I think they'll probably look to, the missed free throws in this game being a real a problem for Miami, and the turnovers. I mean, were pretty much the difference in this one because Miami left 9 free throws on the board I mean, you feel even on a subpar night better than that, you walk away with a win today. But they were unable to do it, and scoring for this game, the low scoring game without Hero. I know that's been kind of the theme is that hey, Tyler's out, so you're hoping the offense is going to crank back up, and I just don't think Heat Magic games are meant for that because like even in the bones of these teams are great defensive teams, and this is going to set up an interesting thing when we get to the point of next Tuesday, because next Tuesday is the NBA Cup, which is of course the chance to go to Vegas if they advance past this. So I wanted a 3-in-1 week. I felt like that was like the gun to get to. Now it kind of gets to a point. All right, you're 1-2 on the week. You lost both road games, both close, and so you want to get the win against the Kings tomorrow. Some things that should be okay. So Tyler is getting his MRI tomorrow. We'll react to, I think, all of that once that happens. I don't think it's something you should do right now because we don't really know. If it ends up being like a Bam injury that's going to take him out another 2 weeks, can the Heat weather that storm? We'll find out. I think people have already come to conclusions after 23 games now, 23, 24. Well, maybe we do have more questions. We do have more questions. But I think from the Heat standpoint tonight, they'll be kicking themselves a little bit for that one. Not only with the way the game ultimately ended, but looking back at some of the missed opportunities, the turnovers. It's going to feel like a missed opportunity, I think, for them, and especially an Orlando team that's playing a lot better. You want to kind of keep that separation amongst yourself and keep your back in this surprising lead, but it's starting to get pretty cluttered in the Eastern Conference. The one other piece of this game that we got to recognize, because it is Heat history. I know it's a frustrating loss. You want to get yourself right tomorrow against the Kings or whenever you watch. If you're watching this later tonight against the Kings, this is back-to-back. Bam Adebayo today on a Heat historic front becomes the third all-time leading scorer in Heat history. He passes G-Money Glenn Rice. Really, really incredible feat by the Heat big man. I mean, to go from a guy picked in the middle of the first round, people kind of thought was going to be a defensive specialist, which, look, I don't think he'll ever catch Dwayne Wade. But the idea that he's got a chance to pass Alonzo Mourning, he's going to become the number 2 overall scorer in Heat history, is really, really cool. Dude handles himself with the utmost of class off the court. And I do feel like, from my standpoint, this is a really cool thing to see him go from where he was, maybe thought he was going to be, except Alonzo Mourning. Alonzo Mourning told me in the first interview I had about him when I asked him about, he's like, no. And this was when it was after Bam's rookie year, going into sophomore, and Alonzo Mourning thought, he's like, we're gonna raise this kid's name to the rafters. I was like, damn, dude, really? That's pretty goosey, though. Like, he really said, he's like, we're going to raise his jersey to the Raptors, and he's going to lead us to the promised land. And I really think for Bam right now, holding the mantle of Heat, the franchise, being their captain, you want him to get that move that gets him over the top, right? Unfortunately, he don't get the win tonight, but ultimately they can try and get things right against a Kings team that is dreadful, doesn't even have Sabonis. I don't even get to enjoy the Sabonis Bam matchup, but we'll see if they can bounce back against Sacramento.